I ain't tryna see your hand out.
Hey yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you tryna press the kid and really you was soft? All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft? All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing you. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft? All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. You gon' see the...
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on? Whoa, did my voice just modulate? What was that? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream. I don't know, guys. This is Crypto Cappuccino. I don't know. We're playing around with this new show idea. Not new show idea, but this new live stream time, guys. Thinking about giving a little bit of extra sauce a little bit earlier in the day. I know we have a lot of CandleMafia members that are not in the same time zone as us. I already see people in chat like, oh my God, a live stream that I could actually watch live. This is sick. So we're probably going to be adding more of these daily or earlier live streams, guys. They may be earlier, they may be later. We're going to try to find that sweet spot of where we want to do them and the days that we want to do them. Maybe every day, maybe every other day. We're going to figure it out, guys. But I want to take a look at Bitcoin with you guys as we are currently playing with a very, very key level of support that we took a look at on last night's live stream. And this level that we're looking at today on today's live stream, I'm going to say tonight probably 45 times, because I'm so used to streaming at nighttime. But the level we're playing around with right now, guys, is a very key level and could hold the door to some more potential downside for Bitcoin. And then also holding that level as support could indicate that move to the upside that we've been looking at. So I want to take a look at this key level. What is it? Are we currently holding it? Are we losing it? How do we know if we officially lost it? We're going to be talking about all that. I also want to take a look at the DXY, which is printing somewhat of a bullish signal, which could make for a more strong case for a move to the downside on Bitcoin. And then I want to take a look at DOT and some of the altcoins as well. This is not going to be a 2-hour live stream. I do want to say that, guys. We are going to try to keep these to about 30 minutes to an hour probably, which probably means we'll be here until like 5 p.m. But with all that being said, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys will get a spin on the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure. We're just going to add these likes to the spin at the end of the day for the night live streams. We'll just add those spins, and then we'll spin the wheel still on the 5:45 p.m. live stream. But smash that like button. If we get 100, every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure. More likes, more free stuff, free crypto, free hats, free memberships to the premium Discord. You guys know we give it all away here for free on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. So smash that like button. I see we got Dave Digital in the chat with some super chats. Shout out to Dave Digital. He says, if we're going to do it, let's go 2 hours. Let's go 2 hours. Yeah, shout out to Dave Digital. I think you're probably right, bro. These probably will wind up going a bit overtime, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to try to keep them to a half hour to an hour, but, you know, short streams are going to be the death of me, guys. But shout out to B. We got B in the chat. Mystic Ruin, good to see you, bro. We got Crimson Caravan Company, also known as C3, as some people call him. We got Chili in the chat. It says, what's up, bro? I'm chilling, man. What is going on with you? Thank you for being here. We got Bullyberry. Creighton C, what is going on, bro? We got Danny Two Stacks. Not related to Danny Two Shoes or Frankie Bag of Donuts, but we also got Hutmo in the chat. Zach Snelling, what is going on? We got Carl. We got Crunk in the chat. Chemistry Bro, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob, Crypto Anon, Tyler Durden. You guys know the mods. Show them some love in the chat. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in to these midday charts. Let's get into it. So, guys, here we are on the Bitcoins chart. The good old Bitcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Hutmo, says, you can do it. You can do it all night. Let's go. Shout out to Hutmo. Yeah, shout out to Neil, says, bro, it looks like you're feeling better. Yeah, guys, I got absolutely destroyed by whatever illness I had. It was like some kind of extreme cold. It was not the C word, which is weird because I don't know why it hurt me so bad, because usually I get a cold and I just keep going about my life. But this thing completely put me out of commission. But shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for the super chat. Said, try again. Oh, H2H head to head. Oh, shout out to Dave Digital. Want to go hang on one second. Let me reread that super chat real quick. If we're going to do it, let's go head to head with... Oh, shout out to Dave Digital. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Davey boy. We got Juan. What is going on, Juan? Thank you for the super chat. Says, do LS like Lionel Richie all night long. Shout out to Juan. Oh, God. I don't know if I get the reference, brother. I don't know if I dated myself or made myself look young or old there. But shout out to Juan Tree. Thank you for the... Juan Tuttree or Tuttree. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, glad you're feeling better. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Thank you for being here and everything you do for the channel. But guys, let's go ahead and jump on into these charts, because as you can see here, we are playing around with a very, very key level of support, sitting right here at about $37,636. Now, this was a level that we were looking at on last night's live stream, thinking to ourselves, hey, you know, this is a line in the sand, right? Now, why is this a line in the sand? Simply put, it is the value area low of our next kind kind of macro range. And if we come up to a higher time frame so we can kind of see this whole thing, you can see that range is getting pulled back here from March, April, and May of 2022. We've extrapolated those levels out to the current price action, and we are now simply tapping on the door to this value area low, guys, right? And we have some pretty interesting stuff to look at here because not only have we been tapping our head on this value area low, if we can get above it, obviously that will open up for more upside on Bitcoin, targeting that previous point of control at 39K first. And then if we're able to get above there, we could start our journey up to the value area high, getting closer to about 44K. However, if you guys watched the live stream last night, you will know that there are some other levels within here that we've been looking at that are also going to be key levels of resistance to keep an eye on. However, as we look at this key level of support, guys, we are simply just like, are we going to hold it? It's like we are playing with this thing, and it is getting very, very dangerous. Now, again, this is a key level. Not only does it hold the key to the, or does it, not only is it the doorway to higher prices if we could stay above this level, but on the contrary, if we get underneath it and we cannot get back above, we are likely to see a bigger move to the downside. Now, if we are going to see that bigger move to the downside, simply put, I will be looking at, let me go ahead and pull up. Let me just pull this other volume profile. If we are able to get below this level, guys, and decisively get stuck underneath here, I will be looking down towards this other value area where we have a POC sitting at about 37,386. This is the Bitstamp chart, just for anybody who's curious. And then if we lose that POC, guys, we could be on our way down to this value area low, sitting at about 36.3, right? So not only is this holding us up and potentially opening up the door to higher prices? And I'll talk to you about why I'm a little bit worried, at least as of right now, with what's going on the charts for that potential upside to come. But we now know, right, when you have a value area high of a local range or any range, butted up against a value area low or previous value area low like it is right now, this makes this pocket of support and resistance very, very key because, again, if we lose this, not only do we know that, hey, we may be getting rejected out of this bigger range up here, but we also might be getting accepted into the lower range, which would make you expect price to eventually fill the rest of this range, getting closer to about $36,300. So that's kind of what we're looking at, guys. That is why this is such a key level of resistance or support, and the fact that we are now starting to break below this value area high of the local range. Now, I want to be clear. Just because we have a candle that is stuck underneath this does not mean that we are guaranteed to come down, right? It's honestly yo, shout out to Zeus Cash. Excited about the new live streams. It says, daytime streaming is great because of the American price market action. Evenings are great because it's right before Asia wakes up. So we have an idea of how they will move the market. Do both. Much love, Frank. Shout out to Zeus Cash. Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, it's like no one really, unless you're in the premium Discord, you don't really get much from me until 5:45 p.m. So we're like, we do the market updates once in a while when Bitcoin is moving, but when Bitcoin's sideways and just ranging, there's kind of nothing from me until later on in the day. So we just wanted to start doing this a little bit earlier and just give you guys some content in the beginning of the day. So there you go. But yeah, shout out to Mystic Ruin. So that's a good point. It's kind of like the two best times. So we'll do some morning shows and then some night shows. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to start doing this every single day right away, but we're going to find a perfect little pocket to put this in so we can do it consistently. And let me know in the chat if you guys like the name Crypto Caffeine or Crypto Cappuccino better. I like Crypto Cappuccino. Shout out to DJ Khaled. But anyway, let's go. Loving the new time. Shout out to Rackton Road says, loving the new time. Shout out to Frankie, loving the new time, Frankie Legend. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate those kind words. But let's go ahead and Lucas says, it's 5 p.m., Frankie. Where are you located, bro? Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to you, bro. Cappuccino for sure, right? Yeah, I figured, cappuccino is kind of more on brand for us. But let's see. Jordy says, I'm so glad you're back, bro. Hope you're feeling better. Feeling 100% better, Jordy. Thank you for asking and caring. But guys, as we look at this price action, again, I want to be very clear. It doesn't mean just because we're stuck under this level, we're instantly going to nuke down, right? Or it doesn't even guarantee that we're going to get accepted back in here, right? Now, we have closed 1 2-hour candle below this level. Not the best thing, right? But really what I would like to see I like to see multiple higher time frame, multiple 4-hour candle closes below this level to kind of decide if it's been accepted into this range or not, right? So, and honestly, more often than not, when you see this happen, a lot of times, it is a sign, right? Like a lot of people will short support, right? As price comes down, it starts to break down, and people will short here, right? And then they just wind up getting wrecked, and it goes back to the high of the range, right? So oftentimes, like when you slip support or resistance, oftentimes, especially when you're looking at value areas, you wind up getting sucked back in, right? So this does not mean, like, we could even dip down even lower here, and if we get rid of this local volume profile, right, even if we dip down a little bit lower here, this is technically where I would be looking for long confirmations. Not where I'm blindly longing, but where I would be looking for long confirmations to potentially see if it's a good idea to get into a trade here, to ride this back into the fair value and then potentially attack the POC. And that's kind of the idea or the theory behind trading the volume profiles. So I don't want anyone to get freaked out. Like, oh my God, we closed a 2-hour candle below here. We're going to zero. Not necessarily, right? Again, for that exact reason. A lot of times when you deviate, typically you wind up snapping back to the upside. Now, with that being said, there are some things that are calling for downside, guys. Like, whether we see these things play out or not is a totally different thing, right? I don't know if we're going to have these divergences and the money flow coming out play out, right? Although they play out more often than they don't, it's not guaranteed, right? We bring up this area of price action many times on the live stream saying, hey, as we consolidated down here, things were actually not looking too hot, right? They're actually looking kind of bearish, and then we got a short squeeze to the upside, and this could potentially be a similar situation to what we're seeing happen up here. So the bearish signs are here, guys, right? Like, we have our continued higher highs on our price action. We have our continued lower highs on our momentum waves, with, on top of that, money flow also coming out. This is a pretty bearish sign, and oftentimes when you do see this, it does indicate that wherever that first wherever these divergences formed could be a significant high, right? And that's oftentimes where you see bigger corrections to the downside. And we can go back and back test this. I'm not necessarily too interested in spending too much time on that, but you can see here, as we approached another area of resistance up here, we put higher highs in on our price, we had our lower highs on our momentum waves, and money flow coming out, and that resulted in a big old dump, right? And that divergence was basically the mark right here, was the mark of that significant high before starting a new downtrend, and then your money flow crosses over into the red, and then you get the bigger dump, right? Now, we were looking for this at that time. I forget what the actual news was here. I forget what it was, but we got that like crazy nuke on a Thursday. It was absolutely insane, but we were already expecting that move down based off of what we saw on the charts. Now, again, this doesn't guarantee, like if you back tested this enough, you could see here, you put a pretty nasty bearish divergence here on the 16-hour back over on this price action, right, where you have your higher highs on your price, right, higher highs, lower highs. Bada boom, bada bing, right there. And then what happened? We just kind of crept up even more, put in some more higher highs, continued the bearish divergences, and then finally money flow came out and you got the move down. So not saying that we are guaranteed just because of these bearish divergences. It's not that easy, right? It's not just like, oh, 16-hour bear div, money flow coming out, that's it, we're going down. Although it is going to be a pretty good bet most of the time, it doesn't guarantee that it will play out, but the signs are on the charts, guys. Like, this is here, right? This isn't make-believe. This is actually printed on Market Cipher B. This is more bearish. And, that could wind up giving us a bigger move down. Obviously, yesterday we were being cautious with our green dot printing on the daily, expecting, hey, this could wind up giving us an extra push up. And now that VWAP is simply just flopping right over to the downside. So this adds like a lot of confusion into the market, guys, because the signals are there. We're not really getting reactions. And then even this green dot didn't really give us anything. Now it's flipping back over, potentially looking to print another red dot. So in my opinion, guys, as far as the charts go, 12-hour bearish divergences, all confirmed, money flow coming out. This is, in my opinion, more bearish than bullish, right? Especially with that daily VWAP flopping over. Your 2-day green dot was looking to print. This is now, in my opinion, like the one bullish case here. If you get that VWAP to cross over the zero line, give you a green dot on the 2-day, maybe that's where you get that higher high into some of those next key levels of resistance. Talking about 39K, 40K, 41.5, and 42K are kind of the next major levels I am looking at. And then if you get that green dot on the 2-day, that could be where you see that push up. But again, that was much more likely to happen with that green dot being fresh on the daily yesterday. And now we're just seeing that get completely stepped on at this point, right? Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for that super chat, bro. He said CandleMafia for life. C-Mob for life. That's right. CandleMafia over everything. Shout out to Dave Digital. But let's see. Bada boom. Let's see. Smash those likes to help the algorithm. I'm sure YouTube is just as confused as I am. Shout out to Mark Dutch. That's absolutely true. Smash that like button, guys, to let everybody know that we're live and push this information out to even more CandleMafia members so we can grow this thing into an unstoppable force even more unstoppable than it already is. But guys, the bearish signs are here, right? Like this is, and we are like clinging to this key level of support, right? So this is decision time for Bitcoin, in my opinion, right? Like if we do not start holding this and getting a move up towards this POC, we're going to start losing this level, and it could start to get dangerous, especially with all the bearish signals that we were just looking at on the 12 and the 16 hour. And on top of the 12-hour bear div printing and that 16-hour bear div printing, our 45-minute money flow just crossed over into the red. Also, not a very good sign when you have that 12-hour bearish divergence. I mean, it's not good when you have a money flow crossover on the 45-minute with a red dot on the 12-hour, let alone bearish divergences with money flow coming out on the 12-hour. So, on top of that, you come over to your 1 hour, see the 1 hour money flow coming back up locally here, but, we may just be making a lower high here. So being very cautious, guys, like still, it's kind of a rough situation to be in, right? Because like we're at support. You don't want to short the support, but again, with those higher time frame bearish signals, it's a little tricky out there right now. I'm not going to lie to you, but this is kind of the key level, right? This is that compass, or these are the prescription glasses that I'm putting on in this confusion, right? Like this is the key level. If we lose this level and we cannot get back above it, that's where it becomes much more likely we get the move down. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm looking at. And again, don't forget that you also have your local volume profile that we just looked at earlier, which is pulled from here to here, which we are currently, trying to get stuck under. We're getting back above it, back below it, back above it, back below it. But very, very, very key turning point for Bitcoin, in my opinion, whether we're going to see that move to the upside or a move from the downside from where we are right now, is going to be based on whether or not we're able to decisively hold or lose these two levels. So there you go, guys. That is basically what I'm looking at least as of right now. Again, like it's a little bit more bearish, the 12 and the 16-hour red dots with the daily VWAP flopping over. But what I want to do here, guys, is I also want to go ahead and I want to check in on the DXY because as you can see, DXY is starting to get a little bit of a pop to the upside, and we are printing a bullish divergence here on the DXY. I say this every time we look at this on the DXY. People say you can't have a divergence on the DXY. I kind of see what they're saying, but they work, right? I'm going to back test this with you guys right now. Let's see. Oh, yeah, shout out to Crypto Anon. Yeah, we're going to take a look at STX in a minute here, guys. He said that STX trade slapped. We did put an STX short setup in the Discord, and that one absolutely wound up playing out. But we're going to be talking about that in just a second. But, guys, we are getting a bullish divergence here on the daily on the DXY. Now, why is this concerning, right? If we are going to get the DXY to get a pump here, it is going to be, this would be a bearish puzzle piece, right? This would indicate that, if we take a look at Bitcoin historically, like where was the last time we had a bullish divergence on the DXY on the daily time frame, right? It was right here. We had lower low on our price action, higher low on the momentum waves, right? That was the first bullish divergence, and then you actually printed another one right here. But nonetheless, right, you had your momentum coming up, your candles were coming down, right? And then you get the push to the upside, and what happened to Bitcoin? It's actually right near that area of price action on Bitcoin that we were just talking about over here, right? So where we had that kind of consolidation and then that short squeeze, and then we finally came down. What was the signal when looking at the DXY that we were going to get this move down? Well, it was basically the bullish divergence. Hey, Mrs. Candles, get in here. Mrs. Candles, come in here. We're doing a midday stream. You got to say hi to the Mafia. They can't wait till 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see your beautiful hand. Look at the ring, guys. Look at the ring on her finger. I don't know. It's some kind of health tracker. Say hi to Mrs. Candles. Mafia loves you. Mrs. Candles loves you, Mafia. See you later. Have a wonderful day at work, honey. I love you. Oh, it smells like cookies. Why does it smell like cookies? She just ate cookies. Look at that. All I got to do is sniff your hand, and I can tell you what you ate for lunch. Mrs. Candles works not too far away from, so she comes back for lunch, which is great because I get to sniff that hand midday, and that is what keeps me going. A lot of people think it's the Aztecian cactus moss water, but really, it's Mrs. Candles' hand. Look at the Mrs. Candles' hands in chat. Let's go. Shout out to all 371 people in the chat right now, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like Mrs. Candles' hands. Much nicer than my hands. But anyway, guys, continuing on here, what was kind of that signal we were looking at on the DXY that indicated the move to the downside on Bitcoin? Well, if we put a vertical line here on that final kind of, if we put that vertical line right here on that kind of final bullish divergence before we got the move up, what happened from, if you're looking at the Bitcoin chart right here, right, you get that bullish divergence, and obviously we did already come down a little bit, but then once that bullish divergence confirmed and we got that move up on the DXY, we wound up getting another pretty sizable move to the downside to the tune of about 10%, right? So this is what a daily bull div on the DXY can do for you. And we could even look further, right? If we test this a little bit back even deeper, bullish divergence right here on the DXY, right? Maybe let me pull up Lux Algo really quickly because it might just highlight them. Yeah. So here you go, right? So you can see Lux Algo marking that daily bullish divergence. Boom, you get the push to the upside on the DXY. What was happening on Bitcoin as you got that push up? Again, you got that next little push to the downside, right? And then let's go back in time just a little bit more. Let's see. Let's spot another. I mean, you could just go back and test this. It's not really rocket science, but what is this? Daily bull div. Yeah, there was another one right here before you got a sizable move up on the DXY. Let's go ahead and see what was going on Bitcoin. So you get the bull div. Boom, you get the move to the upside. Where is our? Let's move this over a little bit. So right here, right? Or DXY came up, and Bitcoin kind of just went up and then down. So that was actually a little bit different. Here's another daily bull div. Kind of slight, but DXY pumped, Bitcoin dumped, right? Point being is that we do have that daily bull div on printing right now on the DXY. Now, the one thing that is kind of a saving grace here is that money flow just crossed over into the red. So even if we do see a pop-up on the DXY here, I'm not expecting this to absolutely moon, right? I would expect it to come up, but not absolutely moon just because the money flow had just crossed over into the red, which is typically, in the grand scheme of things, a pretty bullish signal for Bitcoin, right? The last daily bull div that we had, let's move this back. Last money flow crossover into the red that we had on the DXY was right here. And what did that mark, right? Money flow crossover into the red. That was literally the bottom of the bear market, right? And then we got that big parabolic move up, right? So, locally we may get a push up that could pull Bitcoin back, but that money flow crossover could indicate, some more bullish price action in the long term for Bitcoin, right? Not necessarily an instant pop-up, but some more long-term upside, right? So there you go, right? We just got to keep an eye on this because that daily bull div could be a bearish signal for Bitcoin as well. And you can start to see all this stuff is starting to add up, guys, right? You have the bearish divergences on the 12 and the 16 hour, the daily VWAP flop, and then even the weekly VWAP is coming down on Bitcoin. We're hitting key resistance, right? And you have the DXY getting a bull div on the daily. So the bearish signals are there. The charts are pointing more towards the downside, in my opinion. But that does not mean that we can't shoot up. You have to be ready in all situations because we're traders and you can make money whether the price is going up or down. So why would you limit yourself to one way, right? So, and again, the reason I would be careful, really, and the bullish signals are kind of dwindling here, right? Like now, not only do we have the daily green dot to indicate a potential move up, but we don't have that. If we start printing a red dot here on the daily, guys, like that is going to be an invalidated signal. And at that point, the only bullish signal that, in my opinion, would point to the upside from here without getting even a local pull down would be that 2-day green dot, right? So, but like, I want to be clear. Overall, all in all, guys, I feel like there's a lot of people in disbelief right now. This is a bullish market, right? Like, I'm not saying that we can't come back down. I actually think it's likely that we get a pretty big correction to come in here. I actually don't even think it's impossible to come all the way back down to some lower prices that people probably don't even want to talk about anymore. And I similar to what we did in 2020, right, where we came down, basically revisited the lows. We didn't make a new low. We actually made a higher low. But whether we get a big correction or not, this is a bullish market, guys. Like the market structure on the higher time frames is 100% bullish, right? Low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low. This wicked lower on the leverage exchanges, but technically a higher low, higher high. Could we come down? And if we do come down because of the bullish market structure and the weekly money flow crossover into the green on Bitcoin, if we do come down, guys, I will simply be looking for a higher low before getting another higher high. And then eventually targeting our key levels of resistance in the macro, which is actually, not until all the way up here at about between 48 to 50K. And there's a lot of liquidity sitting above this range high. What range high? Well, the range high that we'll be talking about on the live stream forever, right? So you have this range here. There's a lot of liquidity likely sitting above these highs. So it may make a lot of sense to come up to the top of this volume profile, wick up, which could get you pretty eerily close to 48 to 50K to not only hit the golden pocket, but also hit that value area high of the macro range, right? I don't want to confuse everybody with a million different value areas or a million different levels. That's why I have them separated into folders, but this would get you eerily close to 48 to 50K, maybe to take out all the liquidity sitting above these highs to then eventually get the bigger correction to the downside, maybe some kind of a black swan to get a revisit of the lows before finally getting the halving and coming off into the next bull run. So that's really what I'm looking for on Bitcoin right now, guys, kind of at that pivot point or that pinnacle turning point as we are sitting at these key levels of support and resistance. So we took a look at Bitcoin. We took a look at the DXY. We took a look at why the DXY might be looking a little bit bullish in the short term, but why it's not really like an alarming signal, right? Overall, I am very, 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 very bullish, right, in the long term. But we took a look at the DXY. I also want to we'll take a look at Ethereum, guys, and then I'll take a look. Shout out to B, said hashtag value info. Shout out to B. But let's see. What's going on, Caesar? Thank you for being here, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see. I pressed the like because I like that Frankie is live right now. I needed quality content in this still. Oh, I needed quality content in this slit so bad, or slot. I think he's talking about timing. But shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go. Hashtag free sauce. Shout out to Darren Does Things. But guys, go ahead. I'm not going to. Also, guys, there is an AMA. If you guys want to ask any questions, you can click the AMA up at the top of the chat and just ask any questions. Crypto-related, trading-related, coffee-related. What's your favorite coffee? I don't know. Whatever you guys want to ask me, I will run through those. I'm sure I will have to cycle through some of the crazy ones, but that's okay. But let's go ahead and drop some altcoins, guys. I'm going to do some quick altcoin requests. We're at about 30 minutes right now. We're going to wrap it up pretty soon here. But I want to take a look. Number one, I want to take a look at the liquidation chart real quick for Bitcoin, and then I want to start taking a look at Ethereum, STX, and I will take a look at two other altcoins for now. But pulling up the liquidation chart for Bitcoin, guys, I want to pull up the 15-minute time frame here. Now, all this is simply a chart that shows you where people are likely have liquidation points, right? When you get into a trade, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, right? When you get into a trade, typically, there's a liquidation point. If you don't use a stop loss, you're at risk of getting liquidated, right? Meaning that when you hit that level, you will lose all the money on the trade instantly, right? And you just lose everything. So when people get into long positions, their liquidation levels are below. And when people get into short positions, their liquidations are above. So these red lines indicate these short liquidations. The green lines indicate the long liquidations, right? So the darker the red line, right? The dark red lines are high leverage short liquidations. The kind of medium red ones are medium leverage, and the light ones are low leverage, right? Same thing with the green. The brighter the green, or the lighter the green, the less the leverage. So you can see these are high leverage, medium leverage, and then you have some low leverage. I wish they were. You could change these. I'm actually going to probably change these at some point to different colors to make it more easy to actually see. But one thing to see here, guys, a lot of times the reason you want to look at liquidation levels or just liquidity in the market is oftentimes price is attracted to the liquidity. Now, some people like to say that price is attracted to wherever the most liquidity is, which is sometimes true, but not a guarantee. Obviously, it would be easy to trade if that were the case, which obviously is not the case. But we do have a decent bit of liquidity. I saw somebody say in the chat, they got to come up and gobble up all the liquidity above 38 and 39K. And this is what they were talking about, right? We do have a lot of liquidations here. Now, these are low leverage liquidations, though, right? So we do have a lot of liquidity sitting above, but we also have a decent bit below us. And at this point, guys, this is kind of how the market moves, right? There's liquidity, especially when you're ranging. We are obviously in a clear range here, right? And, you have liquidity above, right? Price comes up, scoops the liquidity, comes back down, scoops the other liquidity, comes back up, right? Scoops this liquidity, comes back down, scoops that liquidity, back and forth and back and forth. And that's kind of what causes the range, right? You come up, and then it reverses, you come back, reverses, and this is kind of what causes the sideways action. There is a significant bit of liquidity above this wick up here at about 38, 538, and, if we were to come up there, you could use, if you are using high block capital or any kind of liquidation chart, guys, even if you're using a liquidation heat map, these levels do act as kind of like support and resistance, but you have to be careful, right? Because although, right, like what happened here, we came up, hit that liquidation level, instant rejection, right? However, oftentimes when you hit those liquidation levels, if people actually get liquidated, you will get a push above that level, right? So you got to be careful. You don't just want to short and long these random levels. You have to understand that, you know, if you come into this pocket of liquidity, you're not just going to reject off it. Likely, you're going to liquidate all these people, adding more buy pressure to the market, because when you get stopped out of a short position, it creates a market buy, adding more buy pressure to the market, pushing price up, right? So if you're not looking to just instantly short when you hit there, you're looking for price to liquidate these people. So you're actually looking for a move through the level, and really the liquidations occurred here. You didn't even have the liquidations occur on this candle. You actually had it occur on this candle because you actually have that big wick. So, you know, they can be used as very, very high likelihood levels or big levels to get a high likelihood reaction or a high probability reaction. But you just have to understand that chances of pushing above it are very, very likely, because when you get liquidated, it's going to cause more pressure to the opposite direction, right? So you stop the shorts out, your price is going to push above those levels. If you stop the longs out, you're going to dip below those levels. And that's why oftentimes people short support and get wrecked, right? Because a lot of times what's happening is the market makers are just kicking all the longs out of the market, right? We took a scalp long yesterday. I actually talked about this on the live stream last night. I took a scalp long from the low of this range, right? Now, not only did we have a key level of support down here, which is the value area low of the range, but we also, let me see, do they have fixed range volume profile? They do. Bear with me while I change these settings really quickly. Oh, they won't let me put the value area. That's annoying. Okay. Well, I'll just mark it out. Let me just make sure value area is 70. We'll make that 250. Row size 250, bada boom, bada bing, and then I'll just put lines for the value area high and value area low, right? So we had the value area low right down here, which is that blue line, and then what happened, right? Price came down and pushed below the level. Was I FOMOing short? No, I actually entered a long position because, like I said last night on the live stream, oftentimes when you get price to rip below a level of support, or where you're like holding support and then price rips through the level very aggressively, oftentimes it's just people getting liquidated, right? They push the price down, kick out everyone who's in long positions, and then that is where price typically reverses, right? I hear people tell me this all the time. People are going long right here, right? People are looking for a long position, maybe back to the high of the range. And what happens, right? People tell me, this is like the number one question I get is, Frankie, how come I get into a position, I do the TA, I get into my position, it works, and then, you know, price just stops me out and then goes the way that I thought it was going to go, right? So very, very likely that this was happening here. People were long from the low here, right? Looking for a move to the high of the range. And what happened? Price kind of came up. They got excited for a little bit. Maybe the smart traders took a TP1 here, right? Locked in profits, moved their stop loss to entry, but chances are most people just got wrecked, right? Most people were probably in a long position here, looking to YOLO long it to the high of the range. And then what happened? It came up. They were like, oh my God, I'm a genius. And then they just got wicked out, stopped out. And then what happened? Eventually, price just went right up to their target. So if you are out there and you are experiencing this in your trades where you're getting into a position and you're just getting stopped out just to have price go back to exactly where you thought it was going to go, you're thinking to yourself, you're like, what the heck? I thought I understood what was going on here. I thought that I knew what I was doing. I thought I was finally getting the hang of this. And now, you know, I wound up being right, but I just got wrecked first anyway. And chances are you're likely a victim of a stop hunt, right? Or a liquidity grab. And when you start to understand how to spot these on the chart, you could actually wind up entering your trades where everyone else gets stopped out, right? So you're not looking for longs here, right? And then eventually you get the push down. Everyone's getting liquidated. You could confirm this by looking at an order flow chart or something similar, right? Somewhere where you could see what the actual longs and shorts are doing. And you can figure out if people are closing their positions here or getting liquidated or stopped out. And if they are, chances are the market makers are kicking all the longs out to eventually just reverse price back to the upside, right? And then you want to enter on that liquidity grab. You don't want to enter where all the other retail is entering and be the liquidity for them to stop out, right? So you don't want to be the people who get stopped out. You want to be the people who enter where everyone else gets stopped out. Your entry, you want your entry to be the other people's stop losses, right? Because And when you trade the market this way, guys, you understand what retail is doing, right? And if you can identify what retail is doing, you can easily form a plan against them, right? Because retail is wrong 90% of the time, right? So if you just figure out what all the I don't want to say pattern trading doesn't work, because it does. So I don't want to misspeak there. But, whatever all the retail people who are just like, using very basic strategies, right? You're putting their stop loss in very typical areas, longing in very typical areas, just doing what retail traders do. If you can identify what they're doing, you could simply just make a plan against them, right? And trade against them, which would essentially put you on the side of the market maker. And if you can get on the market maker side, that's where you're going to make the money, not just being retail, getting stopped out, and then having price go back to where you think it's going to go anyway. So this is just kind of wanted to talk about that because I talked about why I entered that trade last night, and we wound up seeing it play out, right? So, and it was likely because of everyone getting stopped out here. So anytime you get a lot of longs kicked out, chances are you're going to get a quick reaction to the upside, right? And again, you could use order flow or open interest or any other indicators that allow you to see what the aggressive market participants are doing. That will allow you to try to identify what your next move should be. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. I want to take a look at actually, let's take a look at STX, and then we'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we will hop on out of here. But let's take a look at STX, guys. Now, we did have, let me pull up my face cam really quickly here, just because I don't know what I have. I don't want to leak any important information here in the Discord, but I do want to show this. We did put a short setup out here. Whoops. Well, where are we at? Oh, come on. So we did put a short setup in here on STX, right? So this is the short setup. Basically what we were looking at here. The reason I go over this is because I could probably teach a lot of people in the chat right now what we were looking at, and hopefully you can learn something, right? So we had this setup up here, right? Looking for a short from this golden pocket, obviously being aware that we could potentially get a push up to the 786, and we did have a plan if we did get stopped out of this to come up to that 786. There was another plan to get into another trade because this thing looked like it was going down. So I'm going to kind of do TA on STX at the same time doing a trade recap, right? So why were we looking for a short here? Well, number one, if you come on over to the daily on STX, right? Shout out to anybody who wants to see this. You know, daily bearish divergences are printing. Now, not only are the bear divs printing, but they're also printing at pretty interesting levels of support and resistance, right? Or pretty interesting levels of resistance. Should I just pull up the, I'll just pull up the actual, let me actually pull up the chart that we use, right? So, this is old information, right? So do not trade this, guys. I'm not like, this is already played out. This is not the time to enter the short. This is already playing out. But starting to play out pretty well here. And what was I looking at here, right? Now, obviously, we were looking, I'll hide this second entry here, but we came up not only into this key golden pocket, pulled from this swing high all the way to the bear market low. We came up into this golden pocket, very high likelihood that even if we're not going to get a big rejection here, that you would get some kind of an impulse back to the downside, right? Very key level to look at. Now, on top of that, I do believe... Shout out to Tyler Durden and Dave Digital and everybody. B-Team Crypto, let's just put those stop signs in there, guys. Sorry about that. You guys can't see my chart. Share screen. Sorry about that, guys. So let me just go over that one more time, right? So looking at the setup here, this was the setup, right? Looking to come into this golden pocket. We were putting in a 4-hour bearish divergence into that key level of resistance, right? And that was kind of where the original entry was, right? Because with the 4-hour bear div, there was other things we were looking at as well, and I'll explain them in a second. But, not only were we potentially going to get a move down from here, potentially getting back down to the bottom of the volume profile, the special Frankie Candles volume profile. But you guys are funny. Not only could we come down from here, that's why I had the entry here, but we also had a secondary entry in case we pushed up to the 786. However, we came up to the golden pocket, 4-hour bear div, making it likely to come down from there. However, there were a few reasons to go short here, right? And not only were you deviated outside of your value area high, right? You deviate. This is an overbought asset or an overvalued asset. You're coming into key resistance, 4-hour bear div, showing signs of weakness. On top of that, your 15-minute money flow is also crossing over into the red, right? Remember, we talk about that 4-hour, 15-minute strategy constantly, guys. Absolutely, constantly we talk about this, right? So you get the 4-hour bear div. Really, all you need is the 4-hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow coming out. That's typically going to give you a decent move to the downside. However, when you get those bearish divergences as well, that is oftentimes where you're going to get a big move to the downside. So there were a lot of confirmations here. I don't just want to make it seem like we saw a bear div at a golden pocket and shorted it. That's not the case. I'm not going to go over all the confirmations, but just to add a little bit more confluence here, 4-hour bear div. You also had the 15-minute money flow coming out at the same time. And then on top of that, we had a pretty bearish bias in the long term or medium term, because you could see here as price was creeping up into that key level of resistance, putting higher high in on the price action, we are also continuously putting lower highs on our momentum waves with money flow starting to roll out. And it does look like we could print that red dot on the daily very, very soon, which could wind up giving this a much bigger move to the downside, right? So I know that even if we wind up once that 4-hour bear div played out and we got a little bit of a move to the downside, we now have a potential daily bearish divergence looking to print soon that's going to back us up and add more pressure on top of the candles, pushing them to the downside, right? Not literally, but figuratively. That daily bear div is kind of that bigger wave that might crash on top of you, right? Like when think of it as you're in the ocean, right? And you're looking to, when you're shorting, let's say you're looking to get crashed by a wave and pushed under the water, right? So you see a pretty decent wave, right? Like, oh, this thing could dunk me pretty deep. And I don't know, for some reason getting dunked in the water makes you money. Let's pretend that, right, for a short. So you have a pretty big wave coming towards you. Like, that's a decent wave. I think I can get crushed by this one, right? And it pushes you down. Now, would you be more likely to try to get crushed by that wave if you knew there was a monster behind it that, like, hey, if I get tumbled by this wave, I know when I come up for air, that bigger wave, the daily bearish divergence, may be just toppling on top of me and going to crush me even more. I know that is the weirdest analogy, guys, but that's the way my brain works. I don't know. I work in analogies because that's how I understand things. So I try to explain them in analogies, kind of like the guy selling ice cream on the beach. That's how we explain liquidity, right? You need to go where the people with the money are to sell your ice cream. The people with the money are liquidity. The money in the market, the stop losses, the orders in the market are liquidity, right? So I don't know. Shout out to Anthony. Anthony Foganiti. What is going on, bro? He says, Frankie. He says, my guy, thanks for the killer vids. You're a legend. Shout out to Anthony. I appreciate those kind words, my man. And hey, we're gonna keep them coming. Maybe even tripling down on them. But shout out to you, bro. But hopefully that analogy helps you guys kind of understand, right? Like, you're looking for that small wave. You're like, okay, this could tumble me, and I know there's a monster coming behind it, so I might even get crushed more. But getting crushed under the waves is a good thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe not. But hopefully, hopefully that makes sense for you guys. All right, let's see. Zigzag said someone's got to sit Frankie down and help him with analogies. Yeah, let me try to think of one, but let's continue on here. That's basically the thought, right? Obviously, if that 4-hour bearish divergence is a bearish signal, it pushes us down, and then knowing that even if we get a retracement, as we're retracing to the upside, that daily bear div may come down and crash price even lower. So hopefully that makes sense. And then, just for the most part, just general TA here. Like I said, this is not a trade setup for you guys. This is already played out. This is not like, I'm not saying short STX right now. Like, the entry was there in the Discord yesterday. It's too late at this point, in my opinion. But, if you were looking to short, get into a short here, expecting that daily bear div to play out, I would wait for a retracement back to the upside before actually getting in. So just be aware of that. But what I'd basically be looking for here is, hey, what is going on? We got to move down. We're down at the value area high. If we break down below this value area high and we get stuck, that's going to indicate to me that we could probably get this thing to fill the rest of this range, coming back down to about 61 cents, 0.6172. Right? And then, if you could wind up getting some confluence with some golden pockets, etc., or 786s, it makes for an even saucier move, right? So maybe we come down, bounce off the golden pocket, but once we really come down to this POC 786 value area low area, that's going to kind of be, where it may be time to reassess the situation. Should you close the whole position? Should you hold it for a bigger move to the downside? Because if you lose this range, you're likely going to get a bigger move down. But that's kind of what I'm looking at on STX, guys, right? Like, daily bear div, pretty bearish. 2-day VWAP rolling over. You're actually looking like you may be able to put a 2-day bear div in. But we've already got this thing to play out pretty well, right? And typically for these, what I would do in this situation is take profit at the value area high. This has already been like a 10% move, almost an 11% move. Absolutely savage move. But, you got to lock in profits and move your stop loss to your entry. And at this point, it's a guaranteed winning trade, because if you get stopped out, you've already taken money off the table. And if you just come up and you get a bigger move down, you turn that little scalp into a home run, more of a swing trade, right? And you could just continue to cash out and squeeze it for every dollar it's worth. So there you go. that is what I am looking at on STX, and that was just the little bit of a trade breakdown. I like to give people insight into what I look for on these trades, right? Because I figure that's probably what is the most helpful to people actually trying to learn, right? You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people in here that are just like, give me a key level, tell me when to get into the short, right? But that's not. No one makes money like that, right? Like if that were the case, no one like I would have never become a trader, right? I would have just found the best trader and signed up for their group and just taken their signals and never worked another day in my life. I want people to think about that, right? If you are out there and you're watching somebody who's trying to make it look like trading is easy, like all you have to do is wait for a signal on an indicator and then just get into the trade and make money. That's the biggest warning sign of like someone who does not have your best interest at heart, right? Like this person is probably more. It's not easy, right? You want multiple levels of confidence. You need to build a trading plan. That's how you trade. No one, and again, like think about it, right? Because when I first started trading, I thought to myself the same thing. I'm like, oh, like what if I just get into a signals group? And then like, and you always think, right? Like I thought that I was Harmony One. Yeah, we'll take a look at Harmony One right now. You know, I thought what everybody else thought, right? Like I'm like, yeah, they say buy sell signals don't work, but like I could figure this out, right? If I could just get it to move this much, like you think you were special, right? I thought I was special. It's not true, right? And like just think about it, right? If anybody could, if there was signals out there that just worked, right? If signals worked, nobody would work ever. No one would ever have a job. Why would you? You could lay in bed, wait for a notification on your phone, long Bitcoin, long exit. Oh, I made money. Cool. I didn't have to do anything, right? Like if that were true, everybody would just do that, right? Like, but that's kind of what we do in the Discord, right? Like, and just before we look at Harmony One, like I walk you guys through everything, like exactly what I'm looking for, right? STX is looking to print the daily bear div. Now, I will say this is definitely more risky as the alts are ripping, right? We're in a bullish environment, etc. Right? Like there is a full breakdown in here of if this, then that statements, right? Like if we see a push up to the 786, that's what I'm looking for, right? If we come down from here, this is what I'm looking for, right? So and that's what it is, right? There's no buy here, sell here. Like by the time I say, just went long, right? Like by the time I get my orders in and stuff, like you guys are getting late information, right? So there you go. That's why I don't do signals. But anyway, taking a look at Harmony One here. Now I can already tell that we are sitting within a volume profile here. Bada boom, bada bing. Actually extend this all the way to the right. God, I wish that was going to be a little more pretty. All right. Well, I guess we can. All right, let's come on to a higher time frame. Let's take a look at the daily. All right. So I want to take a look at DOT as well. I saw Chainlink in there. We can take a look at Chainlink as well. Let's see. Red Elephant said STX wasn't a signal. No. So let me explain this because I think this is worth explaining. No, a signal would have been short STX now, right? And granted, this typically our setups are more like this, right? So this is not a signal, right? So I'm not saying short STX right now. I was actually waiting for a little bit of a retracement to the upside, but I knew that there was a good chance that we were going to come down from here pretty quickly, right? Because I just happened to see this as the bearish divergence was printing actively, right? But most of all this, usually my setups are like this, right? Where it's like, hey guys, looking for this to happen. If we get it, be ready. That's where I'm looking to short, right? Not, guys, I just shorted STX, get in now. You're getting late information. No one knows where are we looking to target. Like it doesn't work, right? Trust me, it would be much easier for me to be like just shorted STX. It'd be way less work. It'd be like the premium Discord is like a lot of the labor I do, right? Like that's like the most work that I do. It's like very labor intensive. I have to sit on the charts. I have to make sure the levels are good, right? I can't just give willy-nilly information. It's gotta be real. It's gotta be the real stuff, right? So, it's very labor intensive. It'd be much easier for me to give signals, but they just don't work. I know that people wouldn't make money, and that's not the point of this, right? The point is to help people make money. So no, it's more look for this. If this happens, then I'm getting into the trade, right? Like even like right here, like hey guys. Here's looking for a short on INJ, right? I don't remember the exact context here, but it's not short now. It's, hey, looks like we can get a move up. I'm going to sit on my hands until we come up into one of these key levels before a big rejection. This one actually wound up playing out like crazy, that original INJ short. But anyway, there you go. But yeah, that's really why I don't do signals. But I mean, hey, if you were in a signals group that you just get notifications in and you just enter what they say and you're making a ton of money, then that's great. You don't have to work a job. I've just never experienced that. And trust me, when I first started trading, I was searching for it. Trust me. But let's go ahead and continue on here with Harmony 1. So got a pretty significant move up here. I'm going to pull up our naked points of control really quickly. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we rejected all these naked points of control. Like, these are strong levels. We looked at these yesterday. I forget on what coin, but it was just a straight crazy rejection off the naked points of control. That's why you want to be looking at these levels, guys, because these are the strong levels, right? Now, I will say this. We front ran those these naked daily point of controls. We rejected this one. If we can get confluence on that golden pocket right about here. So this would be a key level, right? If you get another move back to the upside, I'd be looking for a rejection at this area of resistance here, right? Naked daily point of control, as well as a golden pocket retracement, and then your 786 is sitting slightly above. Now, I don't know. I mean, if you get that 2-day green dot, which does look like it wants to print at some point soon here, I don't know if you're going to get it on the next candle, but it does look like it may start to print soon here. If you get that green dot, that may be where you're able to start a bigger move up. But take a look at the weekly red dot looking to print. So, we could potentially anticipate a little bit of a retracement before another move to the downside, right? Like, kind of similar to what we may be expecting on Bitcoin, right? A push up into these areas of resistance. Remember, naked daily point of control, golden pocket, going to be a key level to look at. This would be a beautiful place to put a lower high in before continuing back down to some more lower prices, potentially targeting these two naked points of control. Excuse me. Between, that's not what I wanted. Let's get that box going. There we go. Right about there, might not be a bad place to look for, right? Like, that might not be a horrible plan. Now, I don't know if that's guaranteed to happen, but there's nothing on the chart right now saying short right now. Money flow on your 4-hour crossed over into the red, looking for a 4-hour red dot. You could come down. But really what I would look for, I with that 2-day green dot, until that works itself out, that 2-day green dot is a little bit sus, right? Until those 2-day green dots either print or get completely invalidated, that is kind of what I would look at, right? Because if you get the 2-day green dot, likely that you'll push up into some of these higher levels where this would be a likely place to put in a lower high, right? Now, why would I be looking for a lower high here? Again, because if you get that 2-day green dot, you have to remember, if you got that 2-day green dot, this red dot on the weekly would likely not print yet, right? And then once you push up into this key level of resistance, that might be where you actually get that red dot to print, right? That 2-day green dot prints, you come up into this area of resistance, then you get bearish confirmations, that weekly red dot starts to print, and then maybe that's where you get the bigger move down, again, targeting those two naked point of controls down here between about 0.01200 and 0.01153. So that's kind of what I would look for there. I would look at, this is not the prettiest range in my opinion, so there's really no confluence. So I would kind of just be looking at this. So there you go. That is what I'd be looking at on Harmony 1. Real quick, I'm going to take a look at Link, and then we'll take a quick look at Ethereum, and then we're actually going to hop out of here. It's going to wind up being a 2-hour stream. Oh, shocker. Who thought that would happen? Anyway, taking a look at the Coinbase chart here. Okay, so let's come on over to the daily and try to get an idea of what is going on here. Okay, so we have pushed into this very, very key level of resistance. We got a significant retracement, and now we're just kind of bing-bonging around. Now, one level to be aware of above us on Link is going to be the previous value area low at 1858. Now, if I do the same thing and pull up those, see where those naked daily points of control are. And we're going to have to, let me go ahead and pull these. Where's price at now? $15. Okay, so $22, $18.12. Okay. All right. So 18.12, right? So 18.12. So you literally have a daily naked point of control right in this same zone. So what was it? 18.12, right about that. Oh, right about there. So I'll actually make this a purple box. This will be the next key level of resistance I'd be looking at on Link. So there you go. So, hey, take a look at the 2-day. same thing, right? This 2-day green dot is really the one thing that makes me think that we may be able to get a push up here, right? Like if you get the, and again, if you get the push up very similar to Bitcoin, whether we bing bong around here for a little bit, if you get that push up and you put that higher high in on your price action, you could potentially set up for that 2-day bearish divergence would definitely be a signal to be looking for more downside. And then maybe that's where the bigger correction comes in at. But just locally, looking at the more local price action, shout out to Chris Marsden. Hopefully I said that right. He says, what time frame do you use for SFPs? I typically look at the 1 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the 5 minute. That's about it, right? Really, I like to find the levels to swing fail on the 1 hour, and then I will look for that 1 hour candle to swing fail. But once it's in play, meaning once that level that I'm looking for the swing failure at gets hit, that's where I'm going down to the lower time frames, such as the 30 minute, the 15 minute, and the 5 minute, to see if we're swing failing the level or getting bearish divergences on those lower time frames to get a better entry than waiting for that 1 hour candle to close, because you might get a way worse entry, right? So there you go. Shout out to Chris. Hopefully that quick explanation helps you out. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, hey, shout out to Nate Quantum Divergence. What is going on, bro? He says only 237 likes. Tisk tisk. What is this? Habibiba. Shout out to Nate Quantum Divergence. Smash that like button, guys. We will be doing the spins. We will add the spins to the regular live stream wheel spin. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the wheel. More spins, more wins. Smash that like button. Let's go. Shout out to Chris. Says, thank you, Mafia. No problem, brother. And then remember, when you're looking for those swing failure levels, you're basically trying to figure out where people's stop losses are. And those are the levels that you're likely to swing fail, right? So taking a look locally at Link. I'm going to hide this purple box. I'm actually going to hide this fib as well, because these are macro levels and we don't want to see that. We want to look at the local levels, right? So real quick, what I would look at here is I would pull from the high to the low to get our fib, right? Which is obviously we've gotten a lot of resistance at. And I would, let's pull a range here. Let's pull it over here. Let's experiment a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of what I would look at, right? Now, yeah, this is really what I would look at. So VWAP coming up on your 2 hour. Green dot looking to print on your 1 hour. If you are able to push up here, what I would look for is simply trading this as a volume profile, right? So golden pocket. If you wind up pushing up in here, and honestly, if you push up here and then you deviate to go attack that 786, that might be a good place to be looking for some potential confirmations to go short. And then you would basically be targeting the value area high, waiting to get accepted into the value area, and then getting the bigger dump to the downside. You could target the POC and the value area low. So simply put, I would be, no trade for me right now. Simply put, we're in the middle of the range. I would rather wait for the higher probability position, right? Like down here, you deviate from the low, right? You put in some bullish divergence here, right? And then boom, you get a move to the POC and you go for the high. Now at this point, I would, we never touch that value area high. So we may be able, even though we're under the POC, we may be able to come back up. Remember, price action is messy, right? You're never going to be able to predict what the actual price action will look like. So you come up, you don't go right to the value area high, you bing bong around, you cling to the POC as expected. Remember, the POC is a magnet. And then, if we do wind up coming up to that value area high, this is where I'd be looking for shorts, especially if you deviated above the key level, which is your value area high. And if you tap that 786, beautiful, right? That's where you could look for the short to get accepted back into the range, potentially targeting that low. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at. And again, the higher probability trades, the high probability shorts are at the value area high and above, and the high probability longs are at the value area low and below, right? So right now we're at the POC. I do not like trading the middle of the range for the most part. So no trade for me until we come up here or down here. So there you go. That's how I would be handling Link. But overall, weekly VWAP or red dot confirmed on the weekly. Woo. Yeah, I might be able to get the bigger move down. They may be the start of that bigger move down, but I would be careful of a little bit of a push up first. But let's see. Did you get no 2-day bear div? I would have loved a daily bearish divergence here, which we do not have. I want to be clear, right? Do we have it on Lux? Let's see. Yeah, no. I mean, if we had a daily bear div there, I would feel a lot better about this being a significant high, but I would just be careful. If you do push up and you get a big move up, you now have the key levels to look at. Daily NPOC, which actually, let me go ahead and label that. Come on. There we go. MPOC, boom, right? So MPOC, previous value area low, is definitely going to be your next key level if you do push. If you get above that 786, in my opinion, like let's say if I were looking to short this, right? Let's say come back to the 1 hour. If I were looking to short this, once you crack that 786, trade's invalidated in my opinion, right? And that's where I would look for higher, coming back up into this more key level of resistance, being the value area low and MPOC. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Chainlink. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Mystic Ruin, said, bro, that last SFP was picture perfect. We hit the level right before the 1 hour candle close. Shout out to Mystic Ruin. Yeah, bro, absolutely. The SFPs are, listen, not only a high probability, high win rate, but also a high probability trade. And more important than that, they have a clear invalidation point. This is the last thing that I will talk about. I know we didn't go over Ethereum. I will go over it later. To be honest, guys, we'll cover Ethereum really quickly, right? Like nothing has happened. We're just simply bing-bonging around, right? So remember, if we come back over to, right, we're just simply bing-bonging around within this area, right? Not expecting higher prices till we crack this level at 2140, not expecting lower prices till we crack that naked daily point of control or value area high at 1920. Now, coming on over to, what were we just looking at? Yeah, let me just talk about the swing failures really, really quickly, right? So for STX, part of this trade was a swing failure as well, right? So technically, what happened here, right? We had a level right here, right? We actually had a couple levels, right? You had your range high, right? And then you also had your 2 wicks here, right? Rejection, rejection, making it likely that there are a lot of short stop losses, right? So if you grab your short position, right? People short from this high probably have their stop loss set above, right? Above a previous high, maybe even above this high, right? Maybe above this previous high or this previous high. So likely their stop losses were just above, right? And then anyone short from down here probably had their stop loss somewhere in that region as well, right? There's a lot of trades up here and a lot of stop losses. What does that mean? It means there's a lot of liquidity above these levels, right? Meaning there's a lot of stop losses and liquidation points, right? Now, I don't know. Let me see if I could pull this up on the heat map. I don't know if they... can we look at STX? I don't think you can. Yeah, no, they don't have STX. They may have it on the heat map. Let's go to the liquidation heat map, which, by the way, shows the same information, guys. The heat map is just a little bit more detailed, where the trading view chart that you can move around is just a little bit more simple, right? You get a little bit more of a detailed, higher resolution view of the liquidity here on the heat map, right? So let's see, do they have STX on here? They don't. Okay, so we can't look at the heat map. But, likely just using liquidity theory, guys, you have to understand, shorts from this high and this high, stop loss is likely above. So what are we looking for? We're looking for price to push up, wick above here, stop all these people out, wick past the level, come back down, close below that SFP level, and then get the move to the downside. And that is what basically exactly what happened, right? At least on, well, I guess we swung fail that level on a higher time frame, right? We actually didn't get low time frame swing failures on here, but what we did get was the bearish divergences. If you guys have not watched my swing failure pattern tutorial, you'll know what I look for on the lower time frames, right? Because if you come on over here, like come over to the, I think it was the daily was what we swung failed, right? So on the daily, you swung failed this level. You could swing fail on any level. I know I look for the levels on the 1 hour, and then I look down to the 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute to get confirmations. But here's the thing. When you are looking to short this, right? If you're swing failing this, say on the daily, because you can look at the daily, right? I typically don't, but like I do take it into consideration when it happens, right? This is a swing failure, could be a reversal point, right? But if you waited for this daily candle close, you would have gotten in at like 72 cents, right? So how could you avoid this and get a higher entry up somewhere in this wick? Well, simply put, you come down to the lower time frames and you look for other confirmations into that same key level. These are the 2 levels we were looking to swing fail, but we're not swing failing it on the hour. But if you're expecting it to swing fail on the daily, you could come down to the hour, the 30-minute, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute. And what I like to look for is bearish divergences into and above that key level. Right here is a perfect example, right? You had higher highs on your price action through the key level of resistance. Momentum was coming down, giving you that bearish divergence. Money flow was actually also coming down at that point. Actually came back up for some reason right here, but it was coming out, right? So you got the bearish divergence confirmed there. Come down to the 30-minute. You also have even cleaner bearish divergences here on the 30-minute. Higher highs on price into the key level, lower highs, money flow comes out, boom, you get the move down, right? And then it winds up being a swing failure pattern on the higher time frames. And now you could look at this like, hey, this may give us a bigger move down because we got that swing failure on the daily. So sometimes you're looking for those swing failures. Oftentimes what I look for is if we come up and we swing fail that level, I'll come down to a lower time frame to see if we are getting a swing fail on the lower time frame. If we're not, I look for the bearish divergences because in my opinion, they're just as good. And then it just means that you're not going to swing fail on that time frame. You'll likely swing fail on a higher time frame. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully that explains it. But shout out to Mystic Ruin. Shout out to that SFP. I think that's the one he's talking about potentially. Or maybe not. He said the 1 hour candle close. But anyway. Oh no, did we lose the camera? No way. It's not even hot in here. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. We lost the camera. But guys, that I think is the time, all the time that we got for today's live stream. Let's see. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Tyler Durden. Hashtag ticker Cam and Rug. Let's see. What is going on? What is going on in chat right now? Let's see. I can't do TA without Frankie's pretty face. I'm screwed. Let's see if we can turn that fan on. I mean, we're probably just going to do the outro here. But let's see. All right, let me check in on the Q&A really quickly here. While I try to get this camera back up and running. I almost said camera. I don't say that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital. I don't know who that is referring to, but I have no idea. Shout out to Dave Digital. I don't even know if I want to read that because I don't know what it's about. But shout out to Dave Digital. I have no idea. Well, let's see. Okay, shout out to Lunatic. Shout out to you, bro. He says, how did you start trading? Or a better question, how do you learn trading? Or how did you learn trading? I'm struggling so hard. So I am just self-taught, right? Like there's no school that you can go to. Like I feel like, I honestly feel like there should be a school that you can go to. But I'm just self-taught, right? Like it all starts with like the one thing I didn't do really is, I didn't do any courses. Really, I learned everything for free, right? Like Investopedia. Oh, there we go. Camera's back on, guys. Investopedia is like, if you don't know anything, Investopedia is a great place to go if you're curious about terms. I mean, just Google it. AI now, like I would learn a completely different way now. Like if I was learning now, I would just watch YouTube and being very careful. I would watch YouTube, make sure like you're listening to someone who's like actually has your best interest at heart and not people who are like just doing a money grab on crypto, like just coming in, seeing the opportunity, money grabbing, and then running away. But if you find someone that you can learn from, I would just watch them on YouTube, right? Like even if it's not me, like if you don't like my style, like go find someone else. There's plenty of people out there that put out great information. So if I could do it again all over, number one thing I would do is get into free Discords because you could ask people who are already trading. They're ahead of you in your journey, in their trading journey, right? And they can help you avoid those mistakes. So number one, get into all the free Discords you can, right? They're free. Why not get into all of them? Maybe not, don't overwhelm yourself, right? Like, because then you're going to have you're going to get people saying a million different things, right? But like find the way you like to trade, right? If you like to trade, I don't know, I guess you would call me like a volume profile / smart money concept trader. Like, so you got to find what you like. Market Cipher, Lux Algo, like whatever you like to do, find someone who trades like that and then adopt what they do, right? And then study yourself, back test it yourself, sit on the charts, put in the time. You have to put in the time on the charts, but really get in the free Discords that would exponentially make your journey much faster. Number two, I wish I paid for a course. It probably would have saved me a lot of time. Trying to just cherry pick out of like stuff on the internet, what I thought was important. Like, it's probably just better to find somebody to learn from. Like, these free live streams are invaluable. I wish there was someone that would do like educational free live streams like I do when I was learning, but there really wasn't. I would have to just watch a YouTube video on a tutorial or something, but then you can't ask questions. So Discord, tune into the live stream. These are free and they're educational every single day. Yeah, like, I mean, maybe get a course. I wouldn't get into a course right away. Like, just there's too much free stuff out there to just jump right into a paid course. Learn the bare bones, and then figure out what kind of trader you want to be, and then find the right course for you, or the right resources for you. It doesn't have to be a course. So there you go. That's what I would say. But just understand, it's going to take time to learn this. You're not going to get rich tomorrow. You're not going to get rich the next day or next month or even in a year, probably, right? You're likely going to lose money at first. So just understand that. And if you're listening to anybody that's just like, yeah, just load a couple $100 into your leverage exchange and just crank it to 100x leverage, watch this buy sell indicator and make money, person's trying to scam you. So just don't listen to that. But anyway, hopefully that helps you out, bro. I feel like that was a poor explanation, but hopefully that helps you out. He said, if we confirm this value area low, do you think we will go to the POC and then value area high, or retest the value area low before? I think there is a chance that you bing bong around between the POC and the value area high before you get that bigger move down to the POC. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, let's see. Who's your favorite Little Rascal? Shout out to Blanchard's Bees. Let's see. Buckwheat? Is that one of them? I think it is. Little Rascals was like at the tail end of my childhood. I did experience Little Rascals. Buckwheat, I think that's my favorite one. But let's see. What does Tony smell like? He smells much different than Mrs. Candle's hands. I'll tell you that. Shout out to Tyler Durden. No, it smells like he smells like computer components. He smells like a custom PC is what he smells like. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Let's see. Shout out to D Merck said, what exchange do you like to use? Right now, for the most part, I've been using Femex and BingX. These are the two exchanges that most people won't have problems getting on. We do have links in the description if you want to help out the channel. And I don't know if they're running a deal right now. Tony D could probably confirm that or not. Oftentimes, they run deals for the Candle Mafia. If you sign up with our link, they'll give you like $100 in trading capital that you can use. You can't withdraw that money, but if you make profit with that money, you can withdraw that, right? So it's basically play money to trade with, and then if you make profit, you can keep the profit. So it's like kind of like paper trading, but not really, because you get to keep the money. You get to keep the profit, not the original money, right? So they're like, hey, I'll lend you this $100, but you can't keep that 100. But if you turn it into 500, you can keep 400, right? So if you guys are interested, check those links in the description down below. Same thing with Lux Algo and Market Cypher. If you guys are interested in saving money, you can check the links or go to frankiecandles.com where we have all of our deals. All right, let's see. Krishna said, can you talk a little bit more about the indicators you use? This indicator down here that you see is Market Cypher. This is one of my main indicators, and the other indicator you see me using is Lux Algo, which is my other main indicator, right? Now, I use these for different reasons. There's not, I get the question all the time, which one's better, Market Cypher, Lux Algo? They're just different indicators, right? I use them for different things, and it really depends on your trading style, right? Because for Lux Algo, right now, what I'm using here is not everything, right? Like if I go through and check everything off here, like I have a lot of stuff turned off here, right? There's a whole lot to this indicator. There's buy and sell signals or confirmation signals. Not that you should here's the thing, right? Lux Algo has buy and sell signals, right? Technically, they used to say buy and sell, but they actually changed it because it's misleading. Because even Lux Algo knows, think about that, guys. Even Lux Algo knows when you make an indicator, you can't just make a buy-sell indicator. They don't work, right? If they did, think about how easy that would be. I would hook up a bot that says every time a buy signal pops up, buy. And I know it looks good. This looks great, right? If I just bought after this and then sold after this, it's not that easy, I promise you, right? If it was, again, nobody would have a job, right? They would just make a bot simply to code this, right, to buy and sell off the signals. But these are reversal signals. They could be very useful when you are using other TA, right? You can use it in Confluence for big confirmation to get in and out of trades, right? So, but anyway, I don't use all that, right? Like I clean it up and I customize this to my liking, right? So I have a lot of stuff turned off on Lux Algo. What I like to use is the Smart Trail. I like having some of the market structure labeling, the candle coloring, as well as the oscillator, right? The nice thing about this oscillator is you guys hear me talk about bullish and bearish divergences constantly, and Lux Algo just marks them out for you, right? Higher high, lower high, bearish divergence, boom, you get the move to the downside. Lower low, higher low, bullish divergence, move to the upside, right? So now when you're using this in confluence with the divergences in confluence with maybe some buy or sell confirmation signals, right? I'm so happy that they took the buy and sell off of this because it's misleading. And I know it seems realistic because like when you look at it, it looks like you could just buy and sell. Trust me, it doesn't work. And maybe you'll get lucky sometimes for sure, but it's not a profitable way to trade over time, right? But if you were looking at this saying, hey, I got a bullish divergence here, I'm already looking for an entry, right? Then you get a strong buy confirmation, then the Smart Trail flips blue, and you get a bullish change of character. Now you're incorporating divergences, market structure, support and resistance on top of a buy and sell reversal signal, right? That's how you want to trade. You don't just want to be like, oh, it popped up green, long, oh, red, sell. Trust me, guys, if it was that easy, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel, right? I would just, I wouldn't even trade. I would just set up a bot. But so that's the Lux Algo. And then Market Cipher is the one that I look for the other half of the time, right? With this is more, I use this for money flow, divergences, etc. But I always flip back and forth between these templates because I don't like having everything on at once, right? It's too cluttered. That's another thing, right? Like you don't want your chart cluttered. You want to have a clean chart. You don't want too much information is bad information. Remember that, guys. So that's why I love these templates. So there you go. That's a little bit more about those indicators. Again, both of those, if you want to save money on Market Cipher, MC Frank 20, you guys see it on the screen right there. Save 20% on Market Cipher. And then if you guys want to sign up for Lux Algo, link in the description as well. You could see, I believe we have a discount going on with them as well. So there you go. But guys, let me see. Let me just make sure we don't have anything other important stuff. Let's see. Can you tell me more about the indicators, Kay? Let's see. Let's see. Do you hold any long-term leverage positions? Is it feasible to add margin as things correct if you're confident in higher time frame trend direction? Shout out to Brian Varney. Shout out to you, bro. Generally, I don't. Right? Generally, I don't hold my leverage positions. So am I logged in? Hang on, let me see. Like right now, I could pull up Femex really quickly. Generally, like I have been holding a long position on Bitcoin for quite some time. This is a pretty savage entry. So yeah, my entry on my Bitcoin swing long, I mean, it's turned into a swing long at this point. Original entry, let me say, I probably have it here somewhere. Bada boom, I guess not. I'll just re-add it. But yeah, my original entry here was 25,250, which is literally the bottom of the bottom, like the bottom of this range, right? And then this was beautiful. And then I've told this story a couple times. Got in at 25,250 and then accidentally added margin to it. Unfortunately, raising my my entry up to about I think 26.7 or 26.8 or something like that. So technically, my entry was here. Original entry was from down here, but I have been holding this. This is more of a swing trade at this point. I don't typically hold these positions for that long, right? My leverage positions don't really hold for very long, but I am still in this long position. If you've been watching the channel, you've seen me pull this position up 100 times, right? Because I've just been in it for a long time. Entry, let me make sure I got it. Yeah, 26.8, right? So that was the entry. Up 800%, got 1,100 unrealized. Also got about $2,500 locked in. And then this XRP short, I'm still holding, right? I don't have a reason to close it. I've taken out almost $1,000 in profit. This was a quick, easy trade. So I've just been holding this. Still got about $50 in margin, up about 237, 543%. So I'm just holding this in case we get more downside. And then if I wind up actually don't have a stop loss on this right now, but we're pretty safe at this point. But I don't recommend that. But, if I wind up getting stopped out at this, I thought I had my stop loss at break even on here, but I guess I don't. If you get stopped out at break even, it's cool. You make $930. Oh, no. I didn't make $1 million overnight. It's what everybody wants. I know. I want it too, guys. But there you go. Right. So, I don't generally hold them for longer than, typically my leverage trades are shorter term. But sometimes when that scalp trade turns into a longer term position and price just keeps going and there's no reason to close the trade, why not hold it? So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could add to the position as well. But I typically, for my leverage trades, like I am in and out, right? Pretty quickly. All right, let's see. So yeah, guys, I think that is all the time we got for today's live stream. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you guys off there. But yeah, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream or today's live stream. Didn't expect this to go about an hour and 20 minutes. Like I said, these are probably going to be closer to 30 minutes to an hour anytime we do them. But I have to train to do shorter live streams because these are not easy to do. I can't do short live streams. I get too into it. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today's Crypto Cappuccino, I think is what we're going to probably wind up calling it. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for the super chat. He says, sweat and solder, he smells like sweat and solder. Yo, shout out to Dave Digital. That might be accurate. Shout out to Tony D. That might be accurate. Sweat and solder might be what he smells like. Let's see. But yeah, guys, that's all the time we got. Last sneak to Exo charts. Shout out to Jerry Gringo. Shout out to you, bro. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe he wants to see Exo charts. I'm not sure. Let me know. Maybe I'll do a fake out. I probably won't. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you're saying. I don't fully understand. But guys, with all that being said, I will see you guys. Like I said, funny enough, obviously you guys know I was sick. I missed a bunch of streams. But I have plans to do something tonight that I can't cancel. I've had a plan forever. So I won't be able to go live tonight, but I will probably do a market update. If something happens, I'll drop some kind of sauce for you guys. Maybe a YouTube premiere so you guys can hang out and chat still. But then starting on Friday, back to the completely normal schedule. Just the timing of this all just didn't work out. But with all that being said, I will see you guys in some form or fashion tonight, just not live. But every single weekday for the most part, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Shout out to Crypto Cappuccino. Smash that like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want me to do this more often. That's all I got. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.